Okay. Hello, dear colleagues, dear students. I guess we will start our lecture. And I want to introduce our respected guest for today. It's Amit Kumar Goyal. He is an assistant professor of the Department of Commerce and Business Management of Integral University, Lucknow, India. He did his Bachelor of Commerce and Master of Commerce from Lucknow University and postgraduate diploma in Business Management, Finance from the Institute of Productivity and Management, Lucknow. Mr. Goyal has 15 years experience of teaching. He has authored several articles in various national and international journals. He is a member of the editorial board of the Specialized Scientific Journal of Ukraine. Mr. Goyal had authored 8 books in English and Russian language from India, Ukraine, and Poland. Mr. Goyal is frequently invited to deliver lectures, seminars, and conferences on the international level. He kindly agreed to give us a lecture today on the topic, Role of Digital Banking in the Economic Development of a Country, a case study of India and Ukraine. You're welcome, Mr. Goyal.
Thank you, Arena, for giving me this opportunity to express my views in front of the beautiful students of your university. Before starting my presentation, I would like to say thanks to the director of your university and your institute for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to express my views on the topic. Uh, as we all know that today Ukraine is facing a very difficult time, and I know the each and every second condition what is happening in Ukraine, and I personally feels that that this war should end as soon as possible, so that our beloved country Ukraine will be flourished as before. Uh, I have already visited Ukraine 5 times, and my stay in Ukraine for a period of 15 days till 2 months over there. And I personally believes that and feels that uh, Ukraine is my second home. I really love Ukraine, and the places I have already visited in Ukraine in my previous visits, some of the universities and places are now in ruin. I personally feel very sad when I see the buildings where I have delivered the lectures with the universities and the professors. But this is a part and parcel of life, and we all work together to build our Ukraine in a new direction. And hopefully, we will definitely win very soon. And this is one thing. And another, I would like to congratulate to all of you that the Ukraine army has really fought back the and make Kherson free from the terrorist country. So back to the topic, and I will ask the arena to make me the host so that I can share the presentation with all of you.
Yeah, I've already done it. So I guess you can do it.
Okay. Okay. So is my presentation visible to all of you?
Yeah,
And I think the students have understand English well.
yeah, all of them who are here can understand English. So maybe they
Okay.
can
Okay.
ask you some questions later.
No problem, no problem. I welcome the questions of the students also. So
Thank you.
before starting that, Professor Arena has already introduced me. Minya Zavut Amit, yeah, Ochitel Integral University, India. Today's presentation topic is very simple and very interesting topic as in the present scenario when we are dealing with the banking. And I came to know that this university is, this institute is specifically for the banking. So this topic is very pertinent for the students of this institute. A role of digital banking in the economic development of of our economy, a case study of India and Ukraine. Why I have taken the India and not specifically focusing on the Ukraine? Because as we all know that the history of Ukraine is just after the integration in 1991, and if we are talking about if I'm talking about specifically for the India, we got independence in the year 1947. So there's a huge difference between the liberalization of India and the liberalization of Ukraine economy. But we have one thing common. In the year 1991, India make economic reforms which gives the revolution in the history of Indian economics. And this is the turning point of Ukraine also, when USSR disintegrate and Russia got a status of a separate country. So before that, I will start my presentation. History of digital banking. The history of digital banking is very old. If you are talking about the history of digital banking, it starts in the year 1960, where the ATMs and credit cards were launched. Uh, I think most of them know when you open your eyes and you are kids, you see that the credit card is working. But uh, in the year 1960, or in India or in Ukraine, I think the credit card was not launched as early, so early. As internet engaged in the 1980 with the earlier broadband and digital network began to connect retail suppliers and customers to develop the needs of easily online catalog and inventory software system. By 1990, the internet become worldwide available. Online banking starts become very normal, and the importance of broadband and e-commerce system in early 2000 leads what resemble the modern digital banking today. So, if we say that the digital banking came into an existence, it is a year of late 90s and early 2000s, where the internet become very popular amongst the peoples, and peoples are using and get more literate and more aware about the uses of the internet. Over 60% of the consumers now use the smartphone as a preferred method for the digital banking. uh, in India, there are various mobile apps now launched where we can easily do our banking. We don't carry liquid cash, just like in the previous days. When I'm in Ukraine, at that time, I have to convert my dollars to the hryvnia so that I make the transactions, because I don't know that there are some apps or not. But in India, we are very commonly using the apps to make the payments online. If we are talking about the digital banking, what is the meaning of the word digital banking? Digital banking is comprises of two words, digital and banking. The digital means anything which is in electronic form, and banking is a common transaction where buying and selling of where money is receiving or money is depositing through some medium is known as banking. A digital banking is an automation of transactional banking services. Digital banking and marks a banking customer to access banking products and services via electronic or online platform. Just give me a minute. I'm extremely sorry. I receive a call from my home.
It's okay, never
So,
mind.
so digital banking means digitalization of all the banking operations, and subtitles the banking physical presence with the elevating online presence, eliminating the customer's need to visit a bank. Uh, when if you go a little bit back, 2.5 years during the pandemic period of time, at that time, the situation is very much clear to everybody. Before the pandemic, we have to go to the bank and there are long big queues to withdraw the money or deposit the money in the bank. But during the COVID period time or during the pandemic, where all were under quarantine or during the lockdown, we are not restricted to stay our home, but the transactions will go on. And at that time, we are making all the transactions in a virtual form or through a mode of digital banking. So this is the best example how we can use the digital banking. Major benefits of the digital bank. This is very important. Why we need the digital banking? Business efficiency. If I have to transfer a money from India to Ukraine, though till now there's a SWIFT system to transfer the money, there's no other way to transfer the money. But one day it was also possible that from India I use my smartphone to transfer a money and immediately the money transfers to the Arena account, just like you are doing in a domestic transactions. Same way in the international transactions also very soon, because they make the things possible and in a most convenient way to transfer the money from one way to the another. This is not only the transfer, by depositing the money or and doing all the business transactions at an efficient manner, which reduces the time and the cost efficiency. Next is cost saving. The next, which is I have already discussed. When the transaction is through or all the processing of the business is or banking is done on online mode, there is a less requirement of the employees to these transactions. There is no physical movement. Only the thing is you have to fill that form online or on your app or on your laptop, which reduces the cost because you don't hire any person to perform all these transactions. Increasing accuracy, because the transaction or the operation is done by the end consumer only itself. And if I say I have to write my name, then I never write my name in a wrong way. I spell my name rightly, I write my name right correctly. Same way with my father's name, with my mother's name, and with my address. So this way the accuracy of transaction improves and the chances of error reduces because it is done by the customer itself only. So there will be no third person who involves in all such type of transactions, which increases the business process faster. Improve competitiveness. This is a very important point as far as the present scenario where the large number of banking systems are available in specifically if I am talking about the India. In India, we have 23 nationalized bank, 45 private sectors bank, around 50 cooperative banks, and some same way with the rural banks also. So there are a large number of banks which are operating in the country. And if an end customer wants to open an account, he completely gets confused where he or she has to open his bank account, because all the services provided by the bank are similar. How they make the difference? The additional services which are provided by private banks, which are not offered by the government banks, and the accuracy and the time consumption or time saving by the customer is very important, which makes the difference between the private sector bank and a government sector bank. Because in India, all the banks are governed by the central bank, which is known as Reserve Bank of India. Just like in Ukraine, the NBU, National Bank of Ukraine, is controlling all the commercial banks of Ukraine. Same way in India, RBI is governing all the commercial banks. Okay. The most important thing is that there is an end-to-end encrypting, which means that your transaction is safe and secure 100%. Though hackers are everywhere. In India also there are hackers. In Ukraine also there are hackers. We cannot say that we are away from hackers. But hackers, now we have a double security system. Once you do the transaction, the OTP will comes on your telephone. Once you feed that OTP, then only your transactions will perform. Otherwise, your transactions will not perform even after the filling your password. Okay. Digital banking services. If you are talking about the services which are given by the digital banking platform, is obtaining a bank statement, transfer of fund, mobile banking, cash withdrawal, bill payment, finances, manage check, and monitoring transaction records. For all these things, or all for all these services, previously we have to visit the bank to perform all these transactions. But now, with the help of the digital banking, with the help of the digital platform, we can perform all these transactions at home while sitting our place. We don't have to go any other place to perform all these transactions. I think there is none of the point which is not clear. They are self-explanatory point. Obtaining a bank statement. If I want to statement of my bank from last 6 months, we simply log in our uh, internet banking. From there, we will go to the statement we have to mention the period, from which period to which period we need the statement. We simply got the statement from there. Same way, to transfer the money, if I have to transfer my money from my account to my another account, simply I can transfer the money from the internet banking only. Mobile banking, the everything which is available on the telephone comes under the mobile banking category. For this, you just need a smartphone or a tablet to perform this transaction. Cash transaction. Presently, the cash transaction is, some of your students say, sir, how it is possible to do the cash transaction or the cash withdrawal from the banking, digital banking? When we are going to the ATM, we are withdrawing the money. And if I say an example that you are going to you have a card or account in private bank, and you are visiting to HSBC ATM to withdraw the money. Or I am from India, I have my ATM from India, and I visited Ukraine at Kharkiv, Krashake street, and I want to buy some burger or some drink over from there, and I don't have a cash, but I want to withdraw the money from private ATM. I insert my card and withdraw the money. The money I get it from the Ukraine ATM, it is in hryvnia, not in my currency, not in dollar. This is how. This is because of digital banking services. Because internet is working for this platform, and all the transactions, as I have inserted the card from the previous banking ATM, that later on I will tell you the pura flow chart how it works. Same way with bill payment. Normally, we are making the bill payment, paying the electricity bill, paying the house bill, water tax. All this we are doing from the online only. Financing, we can apply a loan from the online. We can buy, open a digital banking account or demat account, or buying and selling of shares also online. Same way, we can apply the loan also. We can manage the check if we have deposit the checks in the banks for a certain period of time, for the clearance, for the deposit of the money, we can control that also. What are the negative part of the digital banking? My In the first point, you have seen that I have written, is digital banking safe? The first question comes in our mind when we are going for the digital banking or an internet banking or a mobile banking. The first question comes in our mind, that is the digital banking safe? Uh, there is a very common phenomena with every person or with every account holder. If I'm doing the transactions from my mobile phone, maybe somebody is looking at to us and withdraw the money from our account or hack my password. No, digital banking is as safe as the physical banking, but you have to keep certain precautions before using the digital banking. Never ever use a digital banking or a internet banking on a public PC, like visiting some cafes, internet cafes, where the things are very open or the domains are open. You log in your banking transactions and perform a transaction. There are the hackers who can hack your passwords and withdraw the money. Never ever share your OTP, one time password, with any of the unknown person. When you are standing at the ATM, never share your ATM pin with any of an unknown person, even though you don't know how to process the money from the ATM. These are the three precautions which you have to take care of it. If there is a very urgency that you have to access your internet banking through some public laptops or public PCs, always clear the history, always clear the templates so that nothing is stored in the history of computer. And this is my one advice to all the students of MBA. When we are logging to the Google Chrome or the new website or where we are putting some of our login name, user's name and password, immediately a window pop up on your screen, allow or block. And we simply in a hurry just allow that thing. Never ever allow the banking transaction website to allow. It will always block them. The history in the history of the computer, nothing is going to be stored. It is for the period of time you will use it, and once you log out the thing or you close the window, everything wash it from there. So contrary to the popular opinion that the digital banking poses a security concern, most readable will be surprised to know that the digital banking is safe as compared to the traditional banking that I have already discussed. While digital banking focus on the phones of the valuable and hackers such as punishing, pharmacy, identical theft, keylogging, banking institutions, and investing a log of security system. The precautions that I have recommended to all of you, always follow these precautions before going for our internet banking in a public domain. Back end banking architecture. This is very important. This is a simple flow chart. This is a very simple flow chart how the digital banking performs. Suppose we are starting from the here. This is a user, you and me or any other. We have to register or log into an account. We can view the account. Just log in. We will just see the view. What we have. We will see the dashboard of the internet banking. Now there are three transactions we can do: is deposit money, check account balance, and withdraw money. If we check the check balance, we will check the balance and then we will end the transaction by logging out. Same way, when we have deposited the money, we will open the account where we have to transfer the money from one bank. We will open that thing, we will do that thing, and then that's when the transaction completes, we will end that thing. Same way with the cash withdraw. If we have to withdraw the cash, we can do the same thing also. So now is digital banking in India. The second part of my presentation, that is a case study of India and Ukraine. So if we are talking about the evolution or the history of digital banking in India, the digital banking starts taking a shape in later 90s with the ICICI Bank begin the first one of the being services of these retail clients. The digital banking became the mainstream only in the 1999 as internet charges reduces and there will be increased awareness through the respect of the internet. In the early 1995, 96 or 97, at that time I remember I buy a Nokia second-hand cell phone 5100. If some of you remember the Nokia model 5100, that is in India we will commonly say that this is a hammer model because it is a very heavy handset and there is no colored display. It is a black and white and monologue telephone with no smartphone. At the time in India, for one incoming call, we have to pay 12 grivnet, and for each outgoing call, we have to pay 15 grivnet. It is very, very expensive. And at that time, in one call, always three times the call gets disconnected, and you have to pay 15 grivnet for each and every call. And in the 1999, when many players enters in the market, like one of the biggest company of India, Reliance Communication, launches in India the communication services. At that time, the services become quite economical as compared to the previous one. And at that time also, there were no smartphones. I remember that I bought my first smartphone in the year 2001, 2007 or 8. I bought my first 2006. I bought my first smartphone, Nokia 6600. So at that time, we know that there will be a color display also, where we have to use and share all the things. And in the 2001, I bought my 2011, I bought another telephone, where I came to know that WhatsApp is also one way of medium of communication. Otherwise, we will know that only Orkut and SMS is the facility to send the messages. It was only after the internet further developed and the cost cut down, bank start servicing a broader baskets of the products online. If you see that this is a very interesting graph. I got this graph from the one of the newspaper in India. There's a Economic Times newspaper, where the cash GDP ratio was back to the normal even before the pandemic gave the artificial boost. As I have already discussed, in India 2020, that was a very tragic period for all of us, or we can say for the entire world. During this period, the pandemic was spread worldwide, and most of the peoples has lost their lives. And it was the first time in India where we saw that for 90 days there were no movements, not a single person is on the street because of the corona pandemic. And this pandemic boosts the cash flow of the GDP because of the internet banking, because we are not allowed to move from our home. We have to restrict our home, and because China is very close to India, and the mostly the foreigners who visit the India from the China, or the many students from the China come back to their home, they spread the disease very explosively throughout the India. And the spread is just like a fire in a wild forest. And this way the GDP, the cash flow in the GDP is 14.5%. This is a very huge amount during this period. If we see that the financial year 2016 till 2020, the growth in the deposit in US billion dollars, that during the period, during the COVID period, you can see that the graph keeps on increasing from 2016 till 2021, because during this period the mostly the use of the internet and digital banking is high as compared to the very previous years. In the year 2020, it is $1936.29 billion, and in 2021 it is $2969.31 billion. Whereas in this year, this amount, cash growth in the deposit reduces by through digital banking, because now the everything is very normal, and most of the investors and account holders directly visit to the bank to deposit the money and or say perform their banking transactions. This is another graph which I got from the Hindustan Times. The UPI transactions has seen that fast grow in the post demonetization phase. In India, 2016 is a phase where the Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, has done a demonetization, where the old currency is obsolete from the market and new currency was introduced. During this period, the old currency which the peoples are having in their bank account, they are, if they have to withdraw, they have to withdraw it from the bank and they have to convert it into the new currency. And as you already aware that India is, in terms of population, India comes on a second number after China in terms of population. So there are huge queues in front of bank to convert their money to do the banking transactions. And during this phase, the UPI or the digital banking play a very vital role for the transactions. The most of the transactions were performed by UPI during this period. You can see from the graph that during the 16, it is 2 lakh crores, which increases to in 2017, it goes to almost 3.75 lakhs crores. But during the August 2021, this transactions is all-time high, where the UPI uses almost 6.5 6.1 lakh crores, 1 lakh crores, and that there will be a cash transactions of almost 0.75 lakh crores, and uh, pay, uh, prepaid payment installments is very nominal or very negligible during this period. So now this comes to your part, the digital banking in Ukraine. The evolution of digital banking in Ukraine was done by the private bank in the largest Ukrainian bank in terms of assets and lenders of the Ukraine retail banking market. It registered on March 19, 1992. Private bank was the first bank to introduce modern digital banking and unique technique solving in Ukraine solutions in Ukraine, allowing customers to use most services remotely by means of Private 24. This is the app which you are using in Ukraine. Digital payment in Ukraine. The total transaction value of digital banking payment segment is projected to reach 6,304 US million dollars in 2022. Total transactions value is expected to slow down an annual growth rate of 2022 to 2027 of 23.24%, resulting of projecting the total amount of $17,920 million by 2027. The market largest segment in digital commerce will be projected the total transaction value of 5,961 US million dollars by in 2022. This is a table I got from the internet that during the 2016 till 2027, this is a projected from after 2022 to 2027, the transaction value in Ukraine. As you can see that the transaction value of digital banking, digital remittance, and mobile POS is purchase on system is increasing, and it keeps on increasing, whereas the digital commerce is increasing very rapidly because of various reasons, like people are reluctant to go to the bank for performing a banking transactions. Annual transactions value per customer, if we are seeing that, we can see that this increases, but at this point the transaction decreases, as we all know, from 24th February 2022, the attack on Ukraine, and this will reduces the per customer value, transaction value of the peoples of Ukraine, because they have to first they have to survive, they have to live, and they have to make the things easier. That's why the transactions reduces during this period, and hopefully by 2022-23, this transactions again that revives with the end of this war. The digital banking users in Ukraine, the same chart is depicted over here again. The digital remittance and mobile POS payment reduces, whereas digital commerce increases because everybody is in shelter home or safe places, so that they can but they have to perform the transactions, so they are performing the transactions through the digital mode and digital commerce only. If we are talking about the future of digital banking, that is a very pertinent topic over here, because what happens till now, we everybody knows. But what is going to be the future of the digital banking? This is very important, because most of our students who are just after the completion of their course, they are going for the for job. So if they are opting the banking as a sector or digital banking as a sector, there's a vast amount of opportunities available for them. As per a Deloitte research report, I think most of the students know about the Deloitte. Deloitte is a very famous company of US, who has done a research or a survey. Okay, what is the future prospects of the digital banking? One must have to fully digitalized banking. Each bank strive to become fully digitalized required the following as a key drive for the success: optimum to order currency, customizable standard option, account linked to the tax exemption status, card blockage features, innovation towards safety wallet, integration with the stock market investment channel, financial management analysis, enable groups of accounting of different banking, easy access assistance. As a full-fledged replacement of the physical banking, branch banking with the digital banking is right now seems to be a fact, far-fetching dream. Digital banking comes in the hand from the recurring banking essential functions. However, customers prefer human interaction for some more important and irritating decisions, such as while taking a loan, negotiation for the terms of the loans. So these are the common features for which the customer always prefer to go bank to perform all these transactions. He or she don't want to just simply apply online for a loan or for any negotiation or for any type of agreement. So for this, there will be a physical banking required, or we can say always a physical banking required. So the word which I have already written in the earlier paragraph, that far-fetching dream is absolutely true, because we cannot say that, or we cannot assure that there will be 100% digital banking in any country. There will be a physical digital banking as well as a physical banking in both the part. So this is from my part. Back to the arena. Or some, if you have some questions, then I'm ready to answer your questions.
I guess no questions from students. Yeah, am I right?
No, I have one question, if I may
Yeah,
ask.
please, of
Yes.
course.
Okay, almost 3 years have passed since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, during which time digital banking has developed immensely in Ukraine. Uh, can it be argued that it was hard times that made humanity adapt and overcome the difficulties that COVID brought into our lives?
Can you please repeat the question?
Of course. Uh, can it be argued that it was hard times that made humanity adapt and overcome the difficulties that COVID brought into our lives?
Yeah, we can say that uh, the COVID has make the users to aware about the negative things as well as the positive things also. The negative part is that the people lost their lives. People are restricted at their home. They are not freely allowed to move from one place to another. But the best part is that we never know that how we can use the best use, or we can say the how we make the best utilization of the internet facilities. The pandemic teaches us how to utilize the resources which is available. Uh, in the year 2017 and in the year 2019, again in the year 2018, these 3 years I frequently visited the Ukraine. But during these three periods, I visited the Ukraine and then delivered the lecture. And during the pandemic, I have delivered many lectures online. Before that, I never know that we can do such type of sessions also through online. Same way with the banking transactions. The banks have already providing these services to the customers, to the retail investors, but we are not adept to use these services so frequently. The COVID teaches these customers or all of us how to utilize the services which is offered by the bank, and how to make the best use of these services without going the bank again and again. So these are the positive things which the COVID teaches the investors or a bank account holders how to perform all these tasks.
Thank you, Professor. It was a great answer.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other question?
Yes, at first, thank you for your presentation. It's a question about banking marketing. What are the most effective channels, effective ways for promoting banking products in India?
In India, to promote a banking is same way as in Ukraine, simply cold calling to the customers. Um, we have a lot of fairs in India because India is a very big country and we have a lot of festivals in India. So in every festivals, we organizes the fair or the fete or the exhibitions. There the banks put their stalls with the sales executive team. The sales executive teams demonstrate the products to the persons who are visiting at the fair. Secondly, these banking executives demonstrate their products to the universities, to the colleges, make them students aware and literate what are the different products of the banking. So this way the company is doing the marketing. And the another or very common way of promoting the products are advertisement. They hire a big celebrity, uh, movie celebrity, to endorse the product, and they are endorsing the banking service or banking products in on television, on newspaper, on billboards, and this way the company is promoting their banking products.
Okay, thank you for answer.
I have a question about marketing too. What is the focus of marketing in India, B2B or B2C?
We in India, the banking industry, specifically the banking industry, opts both the ways of doing the marketing, B2B also and B2C also. In India, a prominent game is cricket. Maybe you heard about the cricket. I know that Ukrainians are not playing the cricket. Cricket is a very famous and a prominent game, and in when we are talking about the B2B, these banks sponsor the events, sponsor a particular match. They endorse the player. They put the brand company's logo on the t-shirts or on the lowers of the player or on the bat of the players, so that they can promote the products. This is the one part. This is to B2B, and when it comes to the B2C, I have already explained in my previous answer that.
Okay, thank you.
Some more questions, maybe?
Hi, yes, I have questions. My questions is how can about technology. From a technology standpoint, what can banks do to meet the digital banking?
Can you please repeat your question?
From a technology standpoint, what can banks do to meet the digital banking?
For the technology, the banks has designed an app specifically for both sort of smartphone, that is Android and iOS, and make them these apps update on a regular basis so that the banking transactions not affected, and it is end-to-end encrypting so that there will be no negligible chances of losing the data of any customer, and banking trying to maintain the secrecy of the customer's data in all sort of ways, or we can say on all possible ways to make the data safe and secure of the customer.
Thank you, Professor.
Mr. Ahmed, maybe I have a question. I'm your colleague, Roman Halic from Karazin University. I'm interested in how many foreign students in India now?
In terms foreign student, you professor, I'm correct. You are asking about how many foreign students are there in India.
Yes, yes.
Uh, it is very difficult to say the exact number, but I will share the number of my university. We have 330 foreign students from 29 countries. Because India is a very big country, and if we are talking about the university,
From China, from
no,
China.
no, from China we are not. The Chinese students are not allowed in India, and Indian students are not allowed to study in China, as due to the conflict
Okay,
in the
okay,
country.
okay, understand. Thank you so much. Good luck,
Thank you,
Mr. Ahmed.
Professor.
Okay, any other questions maybe?
Maybe I.
Yes, sure.
Thank you, Professor, for such a meaningful and interesting lecture. It was very appropriate to learn about India's experience in the field of digital banking and compare it with our country. But tell me, please, what are the peculiarities of the corporate culture in India's banks? Maybe
We
you
have
have some.
Yeah, please carry on your question.
What are the main peculiarities of corporate culture in India's banks?
Okay. In Indian bank, if you are specifically talking about the private sector bank, or the private players, there are very good and healthy working environment, because in banking transactions, Josefa, in banking, when we are talking about the banking transactions, we have very limited period of time for the operations. It is, although it is 12 hours working from 8 to 8, but this is divided into two parts, first shift and second shift. Most of the staff work, if they are female, they are in a morning shift, they are never in the evening shift, and males are maybe in the morning shift as well as in the evening shift. On a regular basis, the employees get the hike in their salary. They got all the benefits which are related to their health. And the most important thing for the banking sector, specifically for the banking sector, they have 45 days mandatory leave for each employees in the bank who are working in the bank. So they can avail 45 days mandatory leave in a span of 15 days in 3 times in a year.
Thank you. And maybe one question, please. When hiring in banks in India, what is top management guided by? To hire an experienced specialist or a young person without experience but with ambitions and desire to work?
In India, the hiring is done on specifically in the banking, the hiring is done on the two parts. For the initial level, that as you have already discussed, already asked me, the freshers is for specifically for the to bring the businesses for the bank, to open the current account, to open the bank account, to provide the loans for the credit cards. And senior profile is for the top management or the middle management. So bank hire both type of persons in the bank, experience as well as a fresher.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Okay, maybe someone else? Oh, yeah.
Hi, Professor Ahmed. Thank you for your lecture. And I want to ask you about one question. We know that India is among the 10 world leaders country that used innovative technologies now. And tell me, please, how many challenges banks exist in India now?
How many?
Challengers, maybe neobanks exist in India now.
If you're talking about the challenges of the bank, uh, the only one challenge for the bank is how to attract the customer, because every customer having more than two accounts in the bank. One is private bank and one is for the with the government bank. As I'm working in the university, so my bank account for the salary account is in government bank. With the same time, I have already opened one account in a private bank. So there is always a competition, tough cutthroat competition between the private banks and the government banks, which provide the services better, whether the government banks or the private banks. Another challenge is which one is stable. The government bank is stable or the private bank is stable. So with this, our honorable Prime Minister way back 8 years back, they have made the amendments in the guidelines of the central bank of RBI that all the private sector banks and all the government sector banks have to perform with the guidelines and the mandate of the Reserve Bank of India, that is the Central Bank of India. So the central bank has taken the responsibility and guaranteed and ensured the customers that in case of bankruptcy of any private sector bank or any government sector bank, the amount will be safe and secured with them. And it is the responsibility of the commercial bank, it is the commercial responsibility of the central bank to pay off the dues of the retail investors.
Okay, understand. Thank you.
Any other question, please?
I guess no questions. So we would like to thank you a lot for such an interesting, informative lecture. It was really very interesting. And I hope that it's our first, but not the last lecture.
Definitely.
Yes, and it's very pity, because not all of the students could connect today because of the situation in our city. Not all of them have internet connection, even mobile coverage. So that's why maybe they can watch later the record of our lecture, if you don't mind, because I know that much more students wanted to
Definitely.
participate. So thank you very much again. And I hope that we will continue our cooperation. And I hope that you can maybe deliver a new lecture for us in future times. And yeah, also thank you very much from our director. He couldn't join us, unfortunately, but he also says thank you for your participation and for delivering the lecture. Thanks a lot.
It's my pleasure to the director for giving me this opportunity to deliver my lecture to all the lovely students of your university and institutes. At this moment, I would like to inform to all the students that my university and your university already has signed an agreement 2 years back. But due to the COVID period of time and due to this pandemic problem, we are unable to perform any such activities together jointly. And this is the first step towards our MOU, where I am delivering the lecture for all of you. And maybe on the next Friday again, you have one international conference at your university, and you can see that many of our faculty members who are participating and delivering the lectures in that conference. So I hope that this collaboration will goes very long, and my next lecture, I pray to Almighty God that maybe I will deliver my next lecture physically in your university with all of you, in the presence of all of you, and it will be a very enjoyable moment for me to deliver the lecture in front of you or in your university. So I would like to say thanks to the university management, to Arena for introducing me, saying so kind words for me, and all those who asked me the questions, and all the audience who have listened me patiently for last 1 hour. So thanks from India, and I hope Ukraine will be safe soon, and you all win.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.